Evening, ladies and gentlemen. You are welcome to today's interactive session brought to you by Team Lead Foundation. I will be your host, Faustina Arthur. Thank you, viewers, for joining us. We here at Team Lead, we seek to inspire and to mentor the young people in achieving their career goals. We would like to tell you that in the progress or in the course of the program, if you have any question, kindly drop it in the comment box on Facebook, or when you have joined us on Zoom, kindly drop it in the chat box and it will be answered for you. I would like to use this opportunity to tell you that if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, our LinkedIn channel, and Facebook channel, kindly hit the subscribe button and follow us. Today, our topic would be on women in engineering. And there is this fabulous woman who dared to be different. And she chose to pursue a course which was considered as a repository for men. And she achieved great feats. It is with the single privilege and honor to introduce our guest for today's program, Engineer Christine Patience Manful. Mom, it's nice to have you here.
Thank you.
Okay, so for the sake of the audience, could you kindly tell us more about yourself, your basic education, your hometown?
Okay, so my mom hails from Elmina, so that means my hometown is Elmina. But I was born in a town called Agona Sweju in the central region, and I had my basic education in a school there called Happy Home School. And then I moved on to Cape Coast. So in Cape Coast, I was living with my mom's younger sister. And then I did junior high in Montessori Junior Secondary, that's in Junior Secondary School. Then I went on to Holy Child School also in Cape Coast before joining KNUST. Yeah. So I think that's a brief about me when it comes to school and where I grew up here.
Wow, that's interesting to know. Holy Child School was actually my first choice.
Oh, really?
Get to go there.
Better luck next time. Oh, no, you're done. Maybe it's your other younger siblings. I hope they will get the opportunity. It's a wonderful place to be.
That's great. So growing up as a young lady in these varying communities, how did it influence you and the choice of your career?
Okay, so with the environment, I can't really tell of a direct influence. So something like in Agona Sweju, it was growing up, I thought it was a big town, but now I notice it's small. So yes, and I didn't know any mechanical engineering in Agona Sweju. Yeah, I didn't bother to find. I mean, growing up, you're just enjoying primary school and all that. But I didn't have a sister, so I had only brothers. And my brother, the one just before me, was known to fix stuff. I mean, he just fixes everything. Anything that goes bad, he fixes it. But that was also just a way of life. Like I said, there was no name as mechanical engineer or something like that. And then through JHS, okay, yes, then I hear of stuff like that. But it's not like as if I knew a particular mechanical engineer in Cape Coast. That's also another thing. But in Holy Child, we had conversations. I had conversations with my classmates about, especially getting to third year, what we want to do. And those were the times I had courses like petroleum engineering, and okay, so it was interesting. But even at that, honestly, I had not chosen to be a mechanical engineer. Yeah, so when we're done with school and the results were in, we're supposed to choose our courses and choose the schools we want to attend. But the major thing that drove me was my father made me aware that, okay, so my father was a very chatty person, so we used to chat a lot, and he discussed with me, but that he didn't. The norm of the time of that time was that every candidate or prospective candidate would buy the three major forms: UCC, Tech, and Legon, and then you choose the courses, and then the ones you get, you decide which one to go to. So he asked whether I think it's a laudable idea. And I was like, okay, that's what we're all doing. And he said no, he thinks I should actually aim at a particular school and a particular course because he doesn't see the need in buying all three. And then the second thing too is that I should aim at a course that I am sure that with my grade points I will get it. So that was I think that was the first challenge. I now get to reason and understand. I think my father was treating me like the guys because but it helped. Yes, it helped because as at that age, those conversations were, they were like straight to the point and all that. But it really helped to put me on course quite at an early age. And I went straight for KNUST and I went straight for mechanical engineering. And yes, a little one before the mechanical engineering. So I wanted to be sure because I had heard of all types of engineering, all journals, and I felt like asking which one I needed to do. So I went to the school. I left Swedru at dawn, took a bus to Kumasi, went to Tech to meet one lady lecturer who was a mech engineering lecturer. She's Dr. Mrs. Arban Seful. I just reconnected with her lately on Facebook and it was awesome. So I met her in school and I asked her what she thinks I should do. I actually went with my SSC results, because
Okay.
yes, I was in for just one and one. So
One.
Dr. Mrs. Interfo saw my results and she was into mechanical engineering anyways. She was lecturing mechanical engineering. So she told me she would prefer me to do that because it was a broader base. So that beyond that, if I want to specialize in anything specific or even divert, it would be easier. And I think
Okay.
that's been one of the most valuable lessons I've had because it's been awesome. I've been very versatile with the course. Yeah.
Wow. I guess we all have to meet that one person.
Yes, you
and
should.
I guess that's and I guess somebody out there, you are going to be that one person for that person to
I
also
would gladly
pursue a
be.
mechanical engineering course.
I would gladly be.
Okay, so there is this perception that engineering is male dominated, especially in the field of mechanical engineering. So in class, as a lady in a male dominated class, were you not intimidated?
Oh no. I mean, like I told you, I didn't have a sister. So I didn't have a sister. So I was used to the boys thing. Yes, but there was a little rough margining because it wasn't just my two brothers or my four siblings in the house. It was, I mean, 100 and something boys. I mean, all heights and everything.
My God.
Short, tall. I'm telling you, short, tall, tough, everything. And the first, the first semester was awesome. I mean, putting us in group works but it was cool because I had other ladies in the course. Okay, there were 12 of us in first year, but 10 of us
Okay.
graduated. Two others left to join other courses. Yeah, but there were other ladies with me who had also attended schools like um, Westby Girls High School, St. Louis, yeah, Archbishop Potter Girls, St. Mary's Girls. Yeah, so I
Please
mean,
add a sign in your height.
yeah. So it was interesting because we didn't feel all alone. I mean, we had our own, and you know what? It's very interesting to note here that we, the ladies who were in that class, we still meet and talk. We make it a
Oh,
point, yes, we make it a point to meet every once in a while, probably once a year. We meet and we talk, and it's very interesting. So we merged in quite quickly. The boys were friendly, honestly. They were. There were guys who had finished HNDs before coming, but they were still very friendly. Yeah, so it was easy.
oh, okay. that friendliness and the nature of the way the guys were helpful back in the university, has it translated back to the workplace? Or it's quite deep on a
It's
total
different.
level? Oh my God.
Yeah, it's okay. It's not worse off. So, like I said,
Okay.
they were friendly, as in the acceptance. They understand that you're a lady, and yeah. But then, I need to make it a point. I don't think they were being mean, but they made us stand up on our feet. Certain treatments they meted out to us, made us really independent. You know, in the MEC class, no one reserves a seat for another person unless it's you, a lady, who reserves a seat for your fellow lady. And even that, you know, sometimes it's tough because you're also so cool with the other guy, so you can't deny him, sort of. So they made us, yeah, they made us quite punctual. You have to be there early if you want to sit in front, and then you have to be on point. And even in the groups, I mean, all the groups that I joined, mostly I was the only lady. I think it was only my final year project group that there were three ladies, but before that, all the groups I joined for group work as an academic work were filled with guys, and you have to add your bit. There was no time that they would let you go to rest because you're a lady. Yeah. I remember there was a time we were given an assignment in welding. So we had to use the welding workshop. And believe you me, there were only two of us in the group of 10 that welded, me and one other guy. The rest didn't come. They only came to cut them.
Oh,
Yeah, they only came to cut the L shapes and the beams and struts, and they were like, okay, I'll be back, I'll be back. By the time I realized there were only two of us, and I was a group leader, so I didn't know what to tell my supervisor. So the two of us had to weld. And the next morning, our eyes were red. We had arc eye, and but it was interesting. It was
oh,
interesting because yeah, we were able to still do it at the end of the day. And that was the first time I interacted with one of the technicians in the lab. And I noticed he was even in my church on campus. And so, you know, everything ends up turning out for your good. But they really made us independent. But coming into the work field, like you mentioned, sorry, before I get to that, coming into the work field, it's also for the engineers, it's normal because as soon as you say you did make, they're like, okay, that's fine. But for the non-engineers, as soon as I say I'm a mechanical engineer, they're like, hey, they just go that way. Yeah. So you have to now calm down. I remember in VRA, there was a time I had to tell one guy that, please, I'm just a mechanical engineer. I don't bite. Then he was easy to work in the group. So the varied acceptance or the varied levels of acceptance are cool, and we receive it well. I do receive it well because it's part of life. I mean, there are days it's very nice. There are days it's very supportive. There are other days that they tell you that, hey, you got here by yourself and you got to move, and we do move at the end of the day. So it's been worthwhile.
wow. Oh, okay. So I would like to ask, um, if you had to choose to be a mechanical engineer,
Can I get that again? I didn't.
if you were to advise your younger self, would you still choose to pursue mechanical engineering?
This is a tough one. This is a tough one because I've already done it and then I now know what it is. And I mean, if I get to do it again, it might not be as fun as, because I'm naturally someone who likes to try new things every now and then. So maybe I would prefer to do something else, not because it is not worthwhile, but it's because I've been there. But my younger self would have more benefits of the course because it's now getting improved day by day. So I recently met a graduate last year and going through the courses with him, hey, so how do you do that? And he was like, oh, now we have energy, something. We have like, oh, that's nice. So it's far more modified now. It's not as brute and hard as we felt it. So it would have been a
Yes.
lovely experience. But naturally, as everyone else knows me, I would love to do something else. I'd like to move on to the next thing. So that's it.
That's it. Wow. So when you were in school, what were some of the study techniques that helped you to come out successful, even though they vary based on everyone's learning ability? Would you share with us some brief study techniques you use to come out with flying colors?
Interesting. All right. So I think because of the nature of the course, the major thing I think helped me a lot was the teamwork, the group work we did, because the varied discussions made it quite easy compared to what the lecturer does in class. So
Okay.
that is one very essential tool. And I noticed that even growing up through work, it has helped me to relate better and get my stuff done across multidisciplinary groups. So that's one. Two is to set up. I mean, there are days where I had to go through it. I mean, when after work, after lectures, I had to go over the notes right there and then. Yeah,
Right.
so it teaches you to go away with procrastination because you get it fresher when it's new, you get it sharper when it's fresh. So that's also another study technique. And then to work it through with courses like engineering drawing. So I would take my time, and even if it means I have to sleep and get up at dawn to draw throughout the whole night, it taught me to stay up to get it done. So that's also another technique. And then the photographic memory, I have to mention that. So I noticed that there were times where I finished solving the whole question, and it's quite a lot. There are courses which are quite tough, like dynamics of machinery. I used to always say this. It had two approaches. Either you draw it out or you calculate it out. At the end of the day, you get the same solution. And the good thing that helped me was that while studying for the course, I do both approaches on each question. So I stare at the picture after I capture the picture in my brain. I don't know how I was doing that, but I think it's possible. So in exam, I can actually close my eyes and remember how the picture looked
Wow.
like. Oh, but I think a lot of my friends used to do that. You know, at some point in time with mechanical engineering, you have to pass. You just have to pass. It was involving. So we had to use all forms of measures to, but I think with these four measures, yeah, it's cool. It will take you through. Yeah.
Wow. So now that we've learned a lot about the study techniques and all that, it's like it seems all engineers will be bookish. Is there a social life for this career?
Oh, there's a lot of social life. There's a lot of social life. I think in school we found it quite tough then because, like I said, there seemed to be a little disjoint from the normal secondary school courses and the mechanical engineering, as in the engineering courses. So things like the analysis, algebra, they were quite tough from the beginning because they were slightly different from elective math. Elective math was more calculative. These ones were abstract. So yeah, onboarding was quite shaky, but as long as you get grounded, you are good. Yeah, and we had time to get through. So by third year, you are good to go. I'm not saying first and second year you can't have a social life. You can.
You
You can.
can.
You just have to get a good balance, yes. And through first year, the good thing is that you are able to tell how well you are able to grasp either in the lecture hall or out of the lecture hall. So by the first two semesters, you are good to go and you are stabilized enough. But honestly, I would advise any mech engineer to get social in third year. Because by then you are well grounded. Yeah. But first and second year, take it easy, enjoy the courses, just tone down, have a good balance, and yeah, you'll be good to go.
Okay. So dear viewers, if you have any question, kindly drop it in the comment box, in the chat box if you are with us on Zoom. So you are advised, mechanical engineers, she says better have a social life in third year. Okay, so now we would want to get to know the mechanical engineer in details. So my first question goes like, who then is a mechanical engineer?
Okay. So basically, an engineer, let's start from scratch. An engineer is someone who provides solutions to life's problems with a use of, now I would call it more of technology and other available designs. So if I notice that people need to move from one point to another, an engineer's job is to design something that will transport people. So that's how come a car comes in. So that's basic. So for a mechanical engineer, you design solutions for world's problems or for the situations in the world with machines, with systems, with what do you call it? More detailed mechanized systems, as in something that has to move. So you get to notice that our totems or logos are normally around gears and things like that. It's a mobile world when it comes to mechanical engineering. You use the systems, you use the machines, you use all of those ones to provide solutions that solves problems in the world. So that's a mechanical engineer, I would call.
Sorry. So as you have told us about who a mechanical engineer is, we'd like to know what's a normal day like for you as a mechanical engineer? What would you do on a normal day at work?
Okay, so a normal mechanical engineering duties, it is fitted in the engineering department of every firm. So with my firm, I report to my engineering manager, and the engineering manager would naturally assign tasks based on our expertise. So if you enter, let's say, the plant or processing plants or anything, you would have to be a supervisor or a team lead for maintenance to all the machines or the mobile elements there. And then you go further into planning. So you would also plan ahead of it if you have to do mandatory inspections and stuff like that. And then you report. So unlike the mechanical technician engineer who you will task to get the job done, as a mechanical engineer, your other major tool is reporting. So you serve as a liaison between the actual work being done on every mechanical system and management. So that's a normal day. At the moment, honestly, with my job with energy and carbon, it is not purely mechanical engineering. I need to admit,
Okay.
yeah. So I'm giving this answer based on mechanical engineering task I took in my previous workplaces, like Volta River Authority. I was with mechanical maintenance department. So that was a normal day. You get to work, your supervisor gives you your block. That's what we used to call it, a block. And then you mobilize your technicians, you plan for materials, you source them from the purchasing or the stores department, you head to work. So it's either changing one thing or upgrading a system or maintaining a system or doing a visual inspection. And your day ends with your report. And that's it.
Okay. So there is a question here that I would like to read to you. It says that, what are some of the challenges you face working in the male-dominated environment?
Oh, so the male dominated, that's the answer. It's male dominated. you, you don't have too many people of your kind there. So I think the major thing is regard. You face a basic system of regard. They need to first understand that you are a woman and you're different. So yes, that's a major thing. So those are the challenges. Sometimes it's tough for some bosses or some HODs or some managers to actually notice that you're a woman. because they're all guys. I remember most of the meetings I go to, the manager or the HOD would just go like, okay, gentlemen, thank you for the meeting, or okay, guys, yeah. So it gets to a point where a manager will be prompted that, oh, we have a lady. It's like, yeah, lady and gents, like not ladies and gents. So yeah, it's normal. And you also face this instance of you being expected to do every other thing that the guy does, So they go like, um, what a man can do, a woman can also do. And then they drop you a weight to lift, like, take that thing up. And I'm like, hey, engineering is not about lifting loads. So there's that natural shuffle. The other thing I also need to tell, probably not only in mechanical engineering, I think with all other firms where, or all other instances where ladies are few, is with leadership. So it's tough naturally for a group of men to just say yes, you are a leader, or admit that yes, let me tell the realities of the matter. Yes, it takes stronger men to accept leadership from a lady when it comes to work, when it comes to expertise, when it comes to engineering. So you need to actually be very outstanding to earn it. It is not as simple as the other fields where the ladies are quite a lot. Yeah. So, but I don't really call them. Okay, yeah, there are challenges. They are not problems. That's a word. There are challenges because I think the men also have their own set of challenges working with you, because as women as we are, we need to be sometimes very detailed, and they feel uncomfortable. Why are you watching into everything? Why are you checking everything one by one? So they also have the challenge of accommodating your nature. Okay. And that way you get to, when you have an understanding of the system, you get to merge better and you get to deliver results. Yeah.
So it takes stronger men to accept the leadership of a woman. So are there instances, there moments and events where you felt proud as an engineer?
Oh, a lot of them. In fact, I'm proud talking to you right now. A lot of instances, yes, I have been very proud, and it comes with varied instances. I mean, at every workplace, honestly, from every work that I have done, I think even if it's not purposely or it's just strictly an engineering job, the fact that I touch it as an engineer gives me some proud moments, and I make sure that personally I leave it with that touch. So yes, they had, and purely with mechanical engineering. So let me give you an instance. I left a job, and the person who took after me after I'd left the company once called, and the person was like, you know what, you left very big shoes, and it's great, it's quite tough. I think I've heard that twice, and I'm not looking down on them, but I felt proud after the call. On two occasions they called, they're like, you left very big shoes, and we are really struggling to fit in that. So I think it was a touch as a mechanical engineer.
I guess those shoes are very big indeed. So my next question is it putting women in context? Is there any achievements in the field of mechanical engineering that women have spearheaded both locally and internationally?
Okay. For mechanical engineering, as in the country, I have to be honest with you that I I have barely met women who who have published or documented, patented, that's what we call a patent in any particular thing. Honestly, I would be honest with you, I haven't. And I think it's because of the nature of the engineering industry in Ghana as a general thing. But all over the world, I'm aware that women in mechanical engineering are doing quite a lot. So interestingly, I did a little research and found out that the Visa card that we all use in banking was designed by a woman, and she's an engineer. And I was proud of that moment. So yes, I think out there, but our industry in Ghana, like I said, our industry in Ghana is one of a maintenance culture thing I need to talk about. So we're actually maintaining systems in Ghana. We are not building, we are not manufacturing, as in we just had the first assembly plant for automobile, but the factories are installed factories. We go buy the stuff outside, come and install them and run them. So we are into operation and maintenance. And there are a lot of women doing a lot of great work in that, just that we are so few. We don't really have that voice to publicize it and make noise all over. But that there are great women out there doing a whole lot. Yeah.
So these are about women who a woman who did the Visa card. Wow, this is actually my first time hearing it. I think this is an inspirational story every young lady out there should learn from in pursuing engineering. So, Engineer Christine, during my background checks, I got to learn that you were promoted once from being a senior mechanical engineer to a unit manager, which is a very big step in career growth. Can you tell us the success story behind this?
Wow. Okay, so let me give a little background. So like every other job that has steps or a hierarchy to go through to the top. So I started work as an engineer, as a mechanical engineer, first with Volta River Authority. So my previous job was a private firm. It's called Pasico Ghana Limited. Pasico, I was a sales engineer, so it wasn't really mechanical engineering, but with VRA it was. And in VRA, you have those levels. You start as an engineer. So your appointment letter says assistant engineer because you're not going to learn. So in 3 months, you finish probation and you're an engineer. And then you move on to senior. If you're a senior mechanical engineer, you go on to supervisory mechanical engineer, principal mechanical engineer. And at the principal level, you get to you get to be invited for interview when there's a vacancy for a line manager. Okay. So I rose through the normal engineer as an assistant to the mechanical engineer, then to senior. But whilst I was senior in VRE, I heard of a job ad for a unit manager in my current company. And I just knew within me that I could do it. So I think the person who told me asked whether I'm sure I said, yeah, I can do this. I know I can do this. So he told me, okay, he will let me see the ad and what it entails. Honestly, I didn't understand everything in the ad. I have to be honest. It wasn't every line in that, but I understood that it was industry specific. So yes, I still knew I could do it. So I was invited to submit my CV, and that was it. So after the CV, I was called for the interview. After the interview, I was sent a link to do some tests, psychometric test online, and voila, the appointment letter came. So that was how I jumped. I'm sure, I mean, if I were in VRA, I would have still been a senior engineer. It was that bold step I needed to take because I knew I could do it. Yeah.
That's bold step.
Yeah.
So a question from Zoom. She said she doesn't want to be known. She said, what major projects have you carried out that made you feel fulfilled as an engineer?
All right. So in VRA, um, I started the first thing I would call a project wasn't maybe in your terms not really a full project. So we had a system called the Heat Recovery Steam Generator, an HRSG, which was an interface between the gas turbine and the steam turbine. And we needed to reclad it. So the whole process of putting cladding material in the various sections which were required, at some point was left to me to manage. And that was just to get in we sourced it from a vendor overseas. So to relate with a vendor, get the specs, and I was very well guided. I need to appreciate my boss. He was a guy, but he helped. It wasn't like I've had female bosses all through. So he really helped me, guided me, and I got it done. I was proud of myself. Then I was transferred to the project. So Volta River Authority was building a power plant in Tema. So I was transferred to that plant to be the mechanical coordinator on the project. And my task was to supervise the pipeline. So we're doing a 16-inch pipeline from the Pong shore. If you know Tema very well, there's a place called Pong. So from there all the way to the power plant, I think it was about 11-kilometer stretch, and it was involving. So we did that alongside a 6-inch PFO pipeline from the second power station to the plant as well, which was about 6 kilometers. And I was impressed at the work I did. That was one of the major multidisciplinary jobs I did, and it was awesome. It was challenging. I mean, I remember one Sunday I was in church in Kaba and Slate when the project team called that I needed to be on site, and my safety boots were in the boot of my car. I just jumped in. So I appeared at the site with Kaba Slate and safety boots and hard hats. You can imagine. Because I needed to be there. It was interesting, but we got the job done at the end of the day, and I was proud of the moment. Yeah. So that has basically been that. And then moving on into my current workplace. So I came to meet a task of getting ISO certification for 50001. That's the energy management system. And even though that is not purely engineering, I think that my experiences with the field work with mechanical engineering and the phases I've been through a career helped me achieve it. Being new in an area, this is my first job in the mining sector, and not knowing anyone and having to set up teams to get things done, having to go through certification exam, it was something else. But hey, we got it done and we were proud of ourselves as a team.
Wow. Those are great feats and achievements, even though I hope the mechanical engineers and other engineers could relate to all the cladding and the
Yeah, I think they will.
high
They
clad.
will. They will.
For
They know what I'm talking about. I know it's new to you, but they know what I'm talking about.
I guess I have to go and do a research after this program. So there is a question for you, and this person wants to know that did you ever had to complete a task that you failed, and how did you handle the situation?
Yes. I've had some failures on the line. So in VRA, after the project phase, the commissioning was done, operation started. I had to get an EM. So EM is an enterprise asset management system. And then the company purchased Oracle from a vendor and was using it for enterprise asset management. And I was tasked to get the maintenance routes into the system. So I started work, but unfortunately, I couldn't achieve it at the set time. So the task was transferred to another colleague of mine. And I didn't really feel good about it. I didn't, you see, in our job, you don't blame anyone. Even though, yeah, that's one thing. So my boss used to tell my boss in VR used to tell you that when a doctor makes a mistake, which I mean every human being makes a mistake, yeah. When a doctor makes one mistake, it's just one life that he loses. I mean, if it's a wrong drug, you miss that person. And
Yes.
maybe if the psychological effect goes on to the husband, the wife, the children, that's in your field. How the ripple effect is thrown down there, I can't tell. But if an engineer makes a mistake, it's a whole system you lose. You get it? If I make a mistake with a system that blows up, let's say I don't do good wrapping of a buried pipeline and there's leakage and there's explosion, you can imagine the lives and properties that you'd lose. So that made me quite sensitive, and I felt bad that I couldn't get it at the set time. That was a problem because I was naturally result oriented, and I felt that that could have been a great achievement for me, coordinating to get it into the system. But yeah, to my ultimate shame, I I failed, but I learned something out of that, honestly. So that's where I was going to go to. So as engineers, I know a lot of other people will be learning, younger ones will be learning. It's cool to fail once in a while. Yeah, it's not as if you're planning to fail, but when it comes, you just get up as soon as possible, dust off the dust, and then learn something out of it and move on. So that's one thing.
So as you fail, don't keep being down there. Rise up and move on. So, Engineer Christine, there's a question for you, and the person wants to know that what are the prospects for females who would want to pursue mechanical engineering?
I think there are a lot of prospects. A lot of prospects in the sense that, like I said, the course is now refined, I think, and it is able to gradually bridge the gap between industry and school. So there are a lot of prospects out there, but I would want to add that it is not just about the course. Okay, the major thing is academic material, yes, but there's this little thing that adds up to make you outstanding. And honestly, there are a lot of mechanical engineers coming up. It used to be only KUST are here, but now UG has a school of engineering or college of engineering. That's University of Ghana, and there are other private institutions that also have um, the course running as mechanical engineering. So there are satellites, campuses, there are distance learning programs, all for mechanical engineering. So that shows that the market is available. But the truth is that for you, if you are a lady, you need to stand out because the ratio of man to as in male to female in that particular field is awesome. It's something else. So you need to be very outstanding. Look out for that unique strength of yours. And that unique strength may not really be technical. Honestly, it may not. Because I keep telling my guys in the field that, look, if it's about the machine, everybody knows how to operate it. But it's about, yeah, it's about the results, about the people. Okay, it's a people's game, and we need to admit that. So you learn the course well, the prospects for you, but do a touch up with your attitude, with your skill, with your resilience, with your. I mean, it's a whole ball game with work than school. But honestly, there are prospects out there for mechanical engineers, especially because of your diversity. You make it too. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So there is a whole lot of prospects out there for young women. So, my dear ladies, get up your loins and be ready to set off into the career of mechanical engineering. And I would also want to know, in other jurisdictions, there are pre-engineering courses for those who do not have an engineering background to pursue engineering. Is there any system like that here in Ghana?
As in free courses.
So it's like you didn't have an engineering background at all, and you want to now come into the engineering field.
Yeah.
Is there any, because in other countries there are pre-engineering courses for a year. That's good.
Pre-engineering courses. Okay. Okay. So I think Recently, I met a gentleman here in my new workplace who wants to do what you're saying. He wants to merge or get onto the course. So I think KUST has such a module for distance learning that I can confirm because that is what I have researched into.
You
Yes. So they'll send you the course study. There are a few of the basic courses that you are allowed to take, depending on what you did for your previous education, or like whether you were technically oriented in your previous education. Because there are certain courses which are mathematically based. So maybe you did BSc math or actuarial science or stuff like that. Your onboarding will be different from some other person who did maybe social sciences and all that. But for the way it's quite detailed as a course, I need to admit it is quite technical. You need to have a grasp of the basics. It is always essential to, if you can, start afresh here in Ghana. Yes, if you can, you start afresh. You can apply like as if you are now through with SHS or something, and then, but you can always have a conversation with a school or maybe somebody in the academic unit of these colleges of engineering there in KUSD, and then maybe there will be a way out. I know there is an onboarding for courses which are technically inclined, which are not engineering based. There's an onboarding. Like I said, probably you start your second year courses or something. You don't really have to do everything from scratch. Yes, but for the others who are not technically inclined, I cannot tell. Yeah.
tell. Oh, okay. So thank you so much.
You're
It's nice having you here. I'm enjoying this conversation and interaction. So as you all know, we are the leaders of tomorrow. So I would like to know, how should a young person strategically position him or herself in the next 10 to 20 years as a mechanical engineer?
I think you basically have to be resilient. If it's on the soft side, yeah, if on the soft side, just be resilient. When you fail at one thing, don't sit there. Just get up. And then for mechanical engineering, be as detail oriented as possible. So maybe it could be in SHS now or JHS now. Have an interest for details. Work through it to the end and see how it comes out. And when you fail at anything, don't sit there, ask all the questions, read, apply yourself. Okay. So I'm giving these lessons based on my experience, because there were times in mechanical engineering that you feel like giving up. I remember I went home one semester and my mom asked me on my results, and I just started crying. I just started crying. And my mom was like, "Oh, is it that bad? Do you want us to change the course for you?" I just it was tough. Honestly, it was. I don't want to say that my other colleagues didn't have it easy, because basically after school, when we're chatting, you notice that each one of us had a tough moment. So when I was in there, I thought I was the only one feeling it all. So after crying for some time, my mom was like, "Don't worry, if you want us to change it, let us know. What's the process?" I just got up and looked at her. I was like, "Mama, since I've started, I'll finish it." And and that was how I pulled through. I mean, after every semester, I look at my grades. I'm like, "Oh, I thought I was better than this, but hey, no worries. I'm still in it, and I'm going to finish it." So if you are young out there, you feel like taking up mech, don't be scared. It's like every other engineering course. You can do it because some people have done it. Just start reading about it. Start. Now the internet is everywhere. You have JHS students with phones. There's Google. Yeah, read about it. Get to build an interest. Get something to firmly ground you. That hey, through it all, I'm going to get it done. Have a mental picture of it, how you're going to end up, and I bet you the sky will be your starting point.
Oh, so viewers who just joined us, thank you so much for joining us. And if you haven't followed our social media handles, kindly do so on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. We have some few minutes to go, and I would like to ask these few questions, then we end our session for today. There's this assertion that volunteering plays a very big role in our career growth and development. So, Engineer Christine, would you like to share with us an experience of you volunteering?
Oh, volunteering. So, yes, I think it does. It plays a good role um, in career development naturally. And I think that is one major point where we are able to touch base with society. So you could be that big, accomplished professional out there, but if you're not able to affect life in society or even able to explain what you do and how you affect society to the people, there'll be a disconnect. So I think this your question is gearing towards the Yali program I went for. Yes,
Yes,
so
your
let me
yeah,
touch
yeah,
on that because
awareness.
volunteering is quite big beyond Yali. I've done a lot of other volunteering. So Yali is an Obama Foundation program. It stands for Young African Leadership Initiative. And then I applied while I was in VRA. That was in 2018. So I joined the ninth cohort for West Africa Leadership Center, Regional Leadership Center in Gempa, and that was in March 2018. And there are three tracks as at the time I was in cohort 9. So there was I was in the business and entrepreneurship track, and we were basically taught how to pick up being an entrepreneur or gaining grounds as an entrepreneur, whether you have a profession or not. Honestly, everybody in the track seemed to be a professional or was a professional. Yes, everybody had it. There were doctors, there were dietitians, there were, and the regional leadership council hosted about would I more than 5 African countries. We had Nigerians, people from Sierra Leone, Liberia. So it was a multicultural setting, which I enjoyed. And there we were tasked to do quite a couple of things. I remember 2 major projects we did there. We came up with was it an agricultural sector project on mobilizing backyard farms or backyard gardens into an income earning venture. So you could have a young guy in a society who would just go around the whole community and give you seedlings for your backyard. He will tend it, make sure it grows, gets the household busy and gets himself busy. And when they yield, he comes around, gets the product, sells it, brings you back your money. Basic. So we go around to interview the people, the students in Gimpa, the lecturers, how good this looks. The other one was with, there were a lot of presentations about migration. It was a multifaceted program. We had sessions with people to motivate you to be more than yourself. And beyond that, I remember we had some cleanup sessions in Pram Pram with the Pram Pram National Service Youth. Yali was a good experience, very lovely. You get to interact, you get to know, you get exposure, honestly, and you get to affect lives. And that was when I understood the fact that there are instances where, let's say in engineering, you would have a company, go to a village to build maybe a bridge or something, right? And the people in the village don't know what's going on. And the company or the engineering company doesn't also understand why they are behaving the way. Yes. So I got to understand the merger with especially the technical world, the engineering world, and the community. If you can do all of the big structures or all of the good systems, and you're not able to touch base with the people who actually use it, people who tend it, people who are around it, people who own it, then the effect will be very less. So Yali was good, and I think that the application still comes up. Yali is 10 years old this year, and if any young person would want to give it a shot, I would really recommend it. It's a very lovely experience. Yeah.
Wow. I'm going to try.
Yes, you have to. You have to.
Okay. So what were you awarded in? What was the award?
Oh, Yali, yes. So I won the Star of Business and Entrepreneurship track. And honestly, I don't know how I don't know when the council was formed, how it was determined, but when I was called up for the award, it looked like all the other people in the track knew it was me. I was the only lost. I was the only one who was lost in the whole thing. And I remember the was it, will I call him a presenter or the MC for the program, was a past fellow or a fellow, as in somebody who had also experienced Yali some years ago, and he was the MC for the program. And when he got to that one, he said, "So we are on the last award, and this is to the next Dangote of our time." I'm like, "Hey, which of the
Hey.
Nigerians is this?" It was interesting. So I think it's because, like I said, maybe all hails to all thumbs up to engineering and to mechanical engineering. I felt that throughout the 3 week session with Yali, I blended well. I really blended well with all other professions because I could understand a bit of everybody's something. And anytime I had a chance to lead a team or something, or to involve other people in what we had to present, I always sought to give everyone a chance. I remember we had a nurse in my team from Togo, and this lady doesn't just understand anything. Everybody in the team was feeling a difficulty, but I kept telling her, you know what, we are here together and we need to do this. There was a musician in my team. There was there was a teacher, there was an IT guy. So, it was all about applying yourself. And the good thing that made me also win the star, as I can remember, is that I had set up my private business by then. I was baking, I had a cake shop. So I could really relate everything the lecturer or the facilitator was teaching to the actual sense. I could build a point of view in my mind. I could tell a value proposition and what I need to put out there. It was awesome. I could really relate, and I think and that makes you know that mechanical engineers have a life. We are not all about work and school. Yeah, we do all
Yeah.
sorts of other things. Yes, honestly, at the moment, I still have friends who are ladies in mechanical engineering who are now into finance, procurement, safety, and are doing so well in their field. So you can all go out there and do mech.
Oh, okay. So actually today we had a mechanical engineer and an entrepreneur as our guest. So glad to know. So happy and excited to have you here for this interactive session. Engineer Christine Patience Manful. We would like you to give us your closing remarks, and we come to the end of the session.
Oh, I think I would appreciate you also for the opportunity to share that. That is very essential because there are a lot of things that some other younger generation or even older people are not aware it's happening in the system or are not aware it's possible. So it is possible to come out from a very low background or from a small town with no idea of any big thing and still achieve it. It is very possible. Like I said, growing up, I didn't know any person personally as a mechanical engineer, but I was able to do it. So you also can do it. And the major thing is not to stay strictly to stereotypes and assertions and presumptions of people. If you need to break out there and do what you have to do, the time is now. Take a step today. Start at it gradually, and you can achieve it. So far as you can dream it, you can do it. So I think I also have to appreciate the opportunity for sharing, as in I am very glad to have shared all of these details, and I believe that we have collectively been able to inspire people out there to reach out and to be more. Thank you.
Thank you so much. But we have some questions on in the comment box, so we'd like you to answer them. Then we come to the close of the session.
All right, sure.
So there are two questions. Which says that, given in this COVID-19 situation, how did it affect your life as an engineer? And also, given the current economic difficulty in Ghana, isn't volunteering very far from us as young Ghanaians?
Okay, let me start from the very last one. So volunteering is not far from us. It's not far from us because you don't really need that much money to volunteer. Okay, volunteering can be as little as possible. If it means just mobilizing water, getting to talk to people, it could be as little as, like I said, a cleanup. It could be finding your friends and colleagues in areas like medical field or something, just to talk to the community about a health condition, do a free a health screening. It could be as little as possible. Volunteering shouldn't be expensive. It shouldn't be that big. So yes, there might be economic conditions, but yes, it is possible because there are people also looking for the opportunity to partner with you to volunteer. When you come up with the idea, you'll be shocked how many people will be ready to plug in. And then the other question on COVID-19. So COVID-19 affected physical presence. So every task that I had on my desk, or I had as an engineer, that needed physical presence naturally would be affected, because it is not all the people in the value stream that have access to online facilities or Zoom or stuff like that. So projects that needed people physically being on the field to complete it will definitely be affected. But the good thing is that it's a global pandemic. So we all are aware that as it has affected my work, my superiors or the people I report to are aware that it's a global pandemic. There's very little we can do about it, but we can always re-strategize and get things done. So it comes with its good and bad sides. Yeah.
Thank you so
You're
much. Thank you.
welcome. Yeah.
Thank you, viewers, for joining us today. Those who joined us on Zoom and those who joined live from Facebook. We would encourage you to subscribe to our social media channel. On Facebook, it is Teen Leadership and Entrepreneurial Development. And on YouTube, it's Teen Lead, Teen Leed, Teen Lead Foundation. And also join us on LinkedIn. And let's have more of these interactive sessions and talk on STEM. You could encourage one young person out there. You might not necessarily need this, but that young person out there in that community would need to see this. So thank you. Thank you for sharing. Thank you that after the session, you would be sharing it. Thank you.